තෙරුවන් සරණයි. Can you believe someone in your life? You believed. And what happened to you? Each and every time we believe people. But finally, we ended up with a broken heart. We always believe. Let me help you to believe. To save your heart. But you need to listen to me. Listen to me means you need to do what I ask you to do. If you do that, without a broken heart, I can help you to believe people. This is regarding the Dhamma. Because actually, this is regarding your life. You always do this. Without believing, you can't associate with other people. You always want to trust people. And trustworthy. But you can't be happy with that. If you really want to believe people, you need to believe nature. If you believe nature, you will find a way to believe people. How can you believe nature? What is the first thing you should do to believe nature? You should know about nature. You should follow nature. Then you can believe it. When you believe nature, you won't believe anyone. If you know about nature, you never believe anyone. But the problem is, without believing, how can I live with my wife, my husband, my father, my mother? That's the other problem you may have in your mind. I need to believe them because I had to associate with them. If I can't trust, how can I live with them? Why do you really need to trust them? Why do you really need to believe them? Because you have your own expectations, ladies and gentlemen. You believe that they will fulfill your expectations. That's the only belief you have on them. You have your own expectations. You can't avoid that. When you have those expectations, your mind is vexed, and you believe that someone will help you to come out of vexation. And someone will behave according to your expectation. Someone will help you to come out of that. That's your belief. Perhaps you believe in God. Why? I don't believe in God. That doesn't mean that God doesn't exist. I don't believe in God. Again, I'm telling you, I'm not saying that existence of God is false or untrue. I don't know about that. But I don't believe in God. Because I don't have any expectation to fulfill. If I have expectations, I must believe in God, and God will help me to come out of my vexation. God will help me to fulfill my expectations. Then I believe in God. Let's assume that there is a God. There is a God, but not almighty. And he or she, I don't know. I just use he. Is that okay with you? Ladies, is that okay with you? If you want, you can bribe. Then I can use she. Actually, people have that issue as well. They try to find whether God, a woman, or a man. I don't know. I think actually they don't have anything to do in their life. They are curious, but they don't know curiosity killed the cat. Actually, it happened. Therefore, they don't have a life, but they try to find about God. They can't be happy. They always suffer, and they always are vexed, and they don't have a life actually. They haven't experienced their own mind. They haven't experienced their own life. They only experience suffering, but they want to find whether God, a woman or man. Let's leave that. In this case, I said that I don't believe in God. I don't believe in God because I don't have any expectation to fulfill by Him. Let's assume that there is a God you believe in, but He is not almighty, or He's not almighty, and actually He can't do anything. But you believe in it. You believe God, but He doesn't do anything to you. For how long will you believe that God? If He is not helping you, what's the point in believing Him? You always said, I believe in God because I have a hope. I believe in God. I'm not talking about Christian God or Islamic God or Hindu God or anything. Just the concept, God. I believe in God. If you say that, that means I have hope. That means I need help because I'm vexed. I need help. Please help me. Can you? I need to make Almighty God. Then I can fulfill my all desires, because there are some desires I can't fulfill with my own, because it is very big. But I can't stop having desires. Desires are created, unbeknown to me. I don't want these desires, but desires are created. That's how you must feel. Desires are created. Actually, that's what happened to you. Desires are created in your mind. You don't want these desires. If I say that, like I'm your Guru Hamdro, then I can say that don't have desires. Okay, stop having desires. Can you do that? You can't. Desires are created unbeknown to you. Finally you know that, oh, I have a desire. When with the desire your mind is vexed. Now you know that you are vexed. Therefore you have only path. You have only one path after that. You have to do something to come out of vexation. But you know that it's so hard. Having a desire is so easy. It is created. It is created and it is conceptual. It is created in your mind. But not, the mind is vexed now. The mind expects it to be done, but can. That's the problem. Can it be done very, very easily? No. Like let's assume that you want to build a skyscraper. That's what you saw when you went to meet one of your friends and you saw that he owns one of them, and at that time a desire created in your mind. You can't stop that. When you saw a beautiful wife, what happened? Oh, I would have one of them. That's what come to your mind. Because whatever you see, and if you feel that I don't have this, or if you feel that, oh, it's so beautiful or something, then you have the ego within you. Therefore, the mind wants that. Because the mind feels so inferior. The ego feels so inferior. When you see some beautiful things, that's why you try to take them home. Don't you do that? First you do window shopping, after that what do? You bring them home. That's why you have 1 million ornaments in your house. You don't want them. Actually you don't want them. But there are many. Because when you see beautiful things, sweet things, or something which is very pleasurable, then the mind feels so inferior because I'm suffering, but something is there which gives pleasure. I should achieve that. I should acquire that. That's the mindset you have, ladies and gentlemen. Because of ignorance and attachment. I would say, let's leave attachment because of ignorance. Because you don't know about nature. Because you don't know about life. Because you don't know about yourself. But you know about the moon, the sun, all the oceans. You know about all these things. And finally you know about Jupiter. Well, one day you will know about that, but you don't know about yourself. You want to discover everything, but you don't want to discover about yourself. Because you agreed with your experience. Your experience is you think that you were born to suffer. Therefore you accepted that. But from time to time you get pleasure, and I would say happiness, let's say. From time to time you feel that, but that's not happiness, so it can be, you can say that it's happiness, but it's pleasure. From time to time you feel that, and from time to time, most of the time you feel suffering. You feel vexation. Therefore you believe that vexation is part of our life, and suffering is part of our life, pleasure is part of our life, therefore we need to experience all these things. This is called life. You believe that, and you accepted it. When you accept that, now you can live like this. I'm sorry to say these things, but this is the truth. If you agree, then don't blame me. If you don't agree, then you can blame when you go home. The problem is you can't stop these desires. When you see something, you need it. You need it because you feel that it's pleasurable. It's pleasurable, but you are suffering. If someone uses that, now you feel that he experiences pleasure, but I'm suffering. Therefore you feel so inferior. That's why actually you have experienced these things. When you see a beautiful wife, gentlemen, please help me. When you saw a beautiful wife, not yours, someone else's, then didn't you thought that if I had one of them, even though you have a wife, perhaps you have a wife, but she is not beautiful enough. That's the truth. But don't shake your head. Just keep it straight. Otherwise, she will make you starve to death. But the truth is, the mind feels so inferior. When you see a beautiful house, actually you wanted, you have experienced these things, you wanted your house to be decorated. Then you came home and you started thinking, how can I decorate my house? Then finally you decorated it. Now you feel some pleasure. That's your life. Whenever you see something beautiful, which means something pleasurable. Nothing is pleasurable in this world, but you feel that it's pleasurable, and because the person who is using it, he is smiling. Therefore you feel that, oh, he's so happy. By seeing my smile, you think that I'm happy. How do you know that I'm happy or not? If you trust the Dhamma, then you might think that you can believe that. If you trust the Dhamma, if you know the Dhamma, if someone can preach the Dhamma like this, then definitely he must be happy. No, you can guess. But other than that, how can you say that by only seeing my smile? Anyone can smile. If you go to Facebook, you will see only smiley faces. Perhaps that's the first time for 5 months he smiled because his wife asked, please smile. Only for this photo, smile. Just to show that. Just to show that we are happy. But by seeing that, you believe everyone is smiling, everyone is happy, but I'm not happy because of this and that. Then you have your own reasons. Then you try to change the world. You try to change your environment. Because you strongly believe that you are suffering because of other things. And others, especially. Others, then you try to change others. Then gradually you think that I trusted him, but he broke the trust. I believed him, but he didn't make me happy. That happens. But the problem is, you always want to believe someone. You want to believe God, you want to believe other people, your mother, father, everyone. The reason is, you have your own expectations, you can't come out of them, therefore you have to believe them. Can I help you to solve this problem? As I told you, I don't believe in God, I love God. Whoever the God you are talking about, Christian God, Islam God, or Hindu gods, or Buddhist gods, if you have, any God, not only God, demons, pretas, anyone, I love them. But I don't believe in them, because I only need to attain Nibbana. But if I have an expectation to attain Nibbana, then I can't attain Nibbana. Therefore, I can't believe in God, or I can't believe God just to help me to attain Nibbana, to fulfill my expectations. Because if I have an expectation, not only God, but also the Buddha can't help me. Therefore, we try to eradicate expectations, even to attain Nibbana, if we have that. When you come to the monastery, especially to ordain, when you come to the monastery, you have an expectation, a big expectation to attain Nibbana. I really want to attain Nibbana. You do like that. You are so enthusiastic at that time. I really want to attain Nibbana. And I can see that you are fanatic for your salvation. But first of all, what I had to say is, okay, let's do that. But first of all, you have to be normal. You are abnormal now. Because in your life, you didn't want to attain Nibbana. You have a few expectations. You had a few expectations. Let's say 10. Now you have another one. That means now you have 11 expectations. That means you are on the wrong path. Because now you have 11. That means when you came to the Sambuddha Sasana, it must reduce, but what happened finally? Now you have extra one. That means the path is wrong. You can't have an expectation to attain Nibbana. You can't have an expectation to be happy. Just leave that at least for a while and have a normal life. Let's talk about your other expectations. I wanted that. And I achieved this, still what I wanted. Last time we were talking about that, can you remember? Right? I wanted a car and I had a car, but right now also, I need the car, I want the car. Therefore, I can't take my mind out of that. It says you can take it out of your system by doing that. But I don't think you can't. I don't think you can, and that means you can't. You can't take anything out of your system. Because the mind gets attached to that. When the mind gets attached to that, a wanting is created. When the mind has a wanting, whether you have it or not, the mind wants it. The mind wants to associate with it, therefore you can't leave it. You have to maintain it and you have to keep it with you. Until you eradicate your attachment. That's why. There is only one solution in this world, ladies and gentlemen. Otherwise you can have 1,000 expectations. With that 1,000 expectations, you can build 1,000 things and you can maintain those 1,000 things and you have to keep it with you because you can't come out of that because still you want it. Until your last breath, you want it. And when you die, I know that you will want it. If you don't believe, then let's leave it. I know that you will want it and you will come back to use that, but when you come back, someone will use it. Someone will own it, like the land you own now. You had a previous owner. Perhaps your car. It has a previous owner. Like that. Then when you die, someone will own it. Then when you come back, then you will see someone is using that, but you didn't give that. Then you think that he stole it. And now he is saying that this is mine, this is mine. Then you will be so angry. You will be so angry and you try to destroy them. By trying to destroy them, you will be destroyed. I have experienced these things, ladies and gentlemen. That's the truth. If you want, the thing is, ladies and gentlemen, you can believe me or not, but you will experience this if you don't believe me. At that time, you will believe that. Not only believe, actually, it will be a conviction. You will know that for sure, but you can't come back and say that, oh, that happened to me. You will suffer forever. Forever means at least an eon. You will suffer. These are the things. Therefore, having an expectation is really dangerous. But the problem is, expectations are created in our mind. We can't do anything. After that, we start to believing other people. We have to do that. We start believing other people. We start believing systems. Because you need help. You need some help. Therefore, you try to be with others, and try to believe others, and try to bring some happiness to your life. Now you believe this government. You believed previous government, the previous government. You believe this government, and you will believe future government as well. Because you have to. Because you have your own wantings. That's why you vote, and that's why you voted them. I'm talking about the previous one, and current one, and the future one. You believe them. Then finally what happened? Actually, what did they do to you? Why did you change the government? It has been changed. Huh? Why did you change it? Because they didn't fulfill your wantings. Because you believed that they will do this and that. But finally, they didn't do that. Therefore, now you can't work with them. Because still you have wantings. You want those wantings to be fulfilled. That's the reason. Then we always blame others. For how long will you do this, ladies and gentlemen? Tell me. It has been how many years now? Just imagine that it has been like 80 years perhaps, 50 years, 40 years, 20 years. You always try to pass the ball to the other court, and you think that they will play nicely and you will be benefited. But that never happened. Therefore, if you really want to believe, you need to believe nature. Believe nature. Believe nature means actually you have to believe it with conviction. Then if you know about nature, then you won't believe others, but you will believe nature. Let me help you. If you practice this path, definitely you will come out of this problem. Otherwise, you have to live with this problem forever, ladies and gentlemen. No matter what. No matter what you do, you will definitely suffer forever. Still, most of you are very young and dynamic. Okay. But something will happen to your body one day. Then, how can you come out of that vexation? When something happens to your body and the mind is identified with the body, then when you think that, oh, I'm so old, I can't walk even, I can't even walk, I can't even eat properly. Now I can't go on holiday. I used to go on holiday every quarter, but now I can't do these things. At that time you will suffer. You will suffer and you won't be in your right mind. Therefore, at that time, it will be useless for you to listen to the Dhamma and practice the path. But right now, you are in your right mind. You are in your right mind and you can practice. That's why I want you to listen to the Dhamma and try to practice this. Whether you come to the monastery or not, I want you to practice to save yourself. Otherwise, one day you will come and say that, Guru Hamdro, that happened to me, and what can I do now? Then at that time we will say that, oh, don't worry. Everyone will help you. You have your daughters, you have your sons, and they will help you. I can tell all these things because apart from that, I don't have anything to say, because I can't say that no one is there for you. You need to practice yourself. You need to come out of this vexation. You need to see the truth. At that time I can't say that. But right now I can say that Attahi attano nato koi nato parosya. That's what the Buddha said. You are the only person who can do this. No one will do it for you. No one will do this for you. You have to do that. You have to do your own. You have to practice your own path. Right now, because right now, actually, you are not happy and you are not sad a lot, but you're okay. You're okay with your life right now. You don't want to commit suicide, no? No. No one wants to commit suicide. Okay. That means you are in your right mind right now. But one day, that will come to your mind. What's the purpose of my life? I lost my limbs. I can't walk. What's the purpose of my life? You will think that. And he cheated me. I trusted him. And I believed him. And he cheated me. She cheated me. What's the point in living in this world? This world is so cruel. Therefore, let me commit suicide and teach him a lesson. Then you will come to that. You have met so many people like that. They try to get revenge by committing suicide. And I met some people, they try to get revenge by becoming a successful person. Success is? Tell me, you know that, huh? Huh? By doing both, actually they are committing suicide. Then you leave your salvation behind and you try to be a successful person. A successful person in which way, ladies and gentlemen? To become a rich person, become a well-educated person, or what? What about the success? Everyone wastes their time by doing all these things. Because you were born. I told you, actually last time we talked about this. Actually, not you were born. Actually, you are born. You are born. Then tell me the purpose of your life, please. Why does it say you are born? Is it a grammar mistake? No, it's a life mistake, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't get this, it's a life mistake. It's not a grammar mistake. Because you are born. I'll show you how you are born. This is the mind, the process of the mind, Rupa Vedana Sanya Sankara Viññāna. This is the process of the mind, and apart from that, with ignorance and attachment, the ego is created. When the ego is created, you feel your existence. That means you feel that you are born. But the problem is, when the ego is created, the ego thinks that it's an entity, therefore it associates with all three times: the past, present, and the future. Therefore, the ego thinks that it is this many years old. That's why you always talk about your past and your life. You can say that I was born in 2000, I was born in 1980, I was 1950, whatever. Actually, you are born. You are born right now. If you are born right now and you die instantly, tell me the purpose of your life, please. If you are this, tell me. That's why I told you, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't understand this, then actually you will have many expectations. But perhaps you think that having an expectation is great. Because we live in this society, ladies and gentlemen. In this society, actually they don't know the Dhamma. They think that if you can acquire many things, then you are a successful person. That's what we have been taught. And that's what we have been doing. That's why you have many things. And still you need more. Or perhaps if you want to attain Nibbana, perhaps now you start giving. Why? Why do you have to give what you have to attain Nibbana? Don't give. Understand the Dhamma, ladies and gentlemen. When you understand the Dhamma, you will attain Nibbana. By giving, you can't attain Nibbana. By giving, you can earn merits. Through those merits, you can or you will have a great teacher, and you can create the environment to attain Nibbana by those merits. But when you have all these things, you have to practice the path, you have to understand the Dhamma, because Dhamma is the key. You have to work with the Dhamma. You have to understand this. That's it. Therefore, you can't believe in someone. You can't believe in me. Or you don't believe in actually. You can't believe me that I will come and give you Nibbana. If I have that power, then I will ask you to come one by one. Then I'll say, Nibbana, Nibbana, Nibbana. Then you'll be so happy. But you can't say Nibbana like that. Tummekicchang atapang akkataru tathagata. That's what the Buddha said. You yourself must try. The Buddhas will guide you, teach you. All the teachers will teach you how to do this. But you yourself must try. What's the thing? Therefore, people want to acquire things to feel superior. And when they want to attain Nibbana, they want to give everything away. And they think that by giving everything, they can attain Nibbana. No. Acquiring and giving is nothing, ladies and gentlemen. Problem is in your mind. Problem is in your mind again. The problem is in your mind. Not in your properties. You didn't believe in God, ladies and gentlemen. Actually, you believed in your wantings and your views. You strongly believe in, not believe in again. You strongly believe your views. You have a view about nature. You strongly believe that. Therefore, you can't let it go, or you can't eradicate it from your mind. You still believe that. After that, because of that view, desires are created. Wantings are created. Vexation is created. Now you have to believe in other people that they will support you. To keep your belief with you. You believe that this world is Nitya. This world is Sukha. This world is Atta. That's your belief. You believe that. And you can't let it go, you can't eradicate that. You can't eradicate that until you understand the Dhamma. When you understand the Dhamma means actually when you see the reality. When you see the reality of the world, that's it. That's the only thing you need to do, ladies and gentlemen. That's the only thing the Buddha asks us to do. Understand the reality. We don't have to create anything. We don't have to create anything and believe that and practice that. We just need to understand nature. All the natural things. Therefore, don't think about acquiring or giving. But you had to acquire things because you wanted to be a successful person, because you believed the society. Still, now you have been listening to sermons for many years, but still you believe in your previous view. That's why you are still suffering. You just need to get rid of that. You don't have to get rid of your hair. You don't have to get rid of your any other thing, ladies and gentlemen. Just one thing. You have a view, it is wrong, you need to get rid of that, and to get rid of that you need to observe the real truth. I can't say real truth, the truth. The truth is real. That's the only thing you need to do. Therefore, don't think about other things, because you can easily do these things. You can say that, you can talk to your parents, you can talk to your spouse, and say that I'm going to practice the path. Don't bother me. By saying that, nothing happens. Now you are not living with your husband or wife. Okay. Nothing happens. You need to listen to the Dhamma and understand it and start practicing. Then, one day, this wrong view that you have been practicing will be eradicated with the correct view. Then you need to practice that view. That view is anicca, dukkha, anatta. If you know that everything is anicca, you never believe in anything. That's why I told you, if you believe in nature, you never believe in anyone. But the problem is, without believing others, how can I live with them? That's the problem. The answer to that problem is, you need to eradicate your expectations. You have an expectation to live with others. You have a desire to live with others because you need help. You need help because the mind is vexed. Therefore, the mind needs others to fulfill them. That's the reason. Actually, why do you associate with the television? Does it feed you? Or perhaps, did you make a shelter out of it? Or you... No. Then why do you associate with television? Because your mind is vexed. You need to see beautiful scenes. And sceneries. Your mind is vexed. Therefore, you need to associate with that. Then you have to believe your television. Not only that, you have to believe perhaps perhaps your internet connection, perhaps electricity board. Whenever you want, you must use it. To use, you need to trust them. Then they will always break your heart. Then you will bring a generator. Then you have to trust that company, generator company. You have to trust them, because whenever you want, it should work. Now look at that. You have to trust everyone around you if you have expectations. But if you don't have any expectation, you don't have to trust anyone. Because you can't trust, ladies and gentlemen. Everything is anicca. If everything is anicca, you can't trust anything. Especially you can't trust a human being, ladies and gentlemen. You can't trust an animal. Because they are living things. They are anicca. They are living things. Their body is anicca. Can you trust your body? Perhaps when you go for a checkup tomorrow, you will come to know that you have cancer. Can you trust your body? Perhaps you will be paralyzed by tomorrow. Well, can you trust your body? Just after this sermon, you will have a headache by listening to me. Well, perhaps I am a headache. That's how the ego thinks. Oh, this monk is a headache. He always tries to kill me. How can you trust? Perhaps you will lose your hair by tomorrow. How can you trust? Because this is anicca. We never know what happens. When causes are there, an effect is created. You can't put your own wanting into that. All the causes plus my wanting is an effect? No. When causes are there, an effect is created. Well, how can you trust? Now, in this case, this is the mind, which is the purest thing in the world. This is the mind, the most pure thing, and this is the ego, the most foolish thing. And the other thing is your body. Other thing is your body. In Sinhalese and Pali, we use a term called kaya. This is a kaya. Actually, this also has the same meaning, kaya. Kaya means when causes are accumulated, an effect is created, that is called body and kaya. It consists of many parts. If your body consists of many parts, how can you trust? Let's take this as an example. Let's assume that you have a company and you are the only person who works there. You are the only person. Now you can trust yourself. But if you have two people who are working there, now what happened to your trust? It decreases or increases? What happened? It decreases. Now, because now you have to trust another person. Now let's assume that you have 5 people. Then what happened? Then it decreases, it even decreases. Then let's assume that you have a body which has 1 billion parts. If you take your neurons, it's approximately more than, I think, trillion. A trillion. Number of neurons. Now how can you trust? You may have a head injury and tomorrow when you wake up you can't lift this arm. This arm is not working anymore. How can you trust? But you have to believe your body because you have your own wantings, ladies and gentlemen. You have to use this body because you means the ego. The ego has wantings. The ego has wantings and the ego wants to fulfill those wantings. Otherwise, it has to live with vexation. That's why you have to trust this body. And the other thing is, especially this face. You have to trust and believe this face, because this face is your identity. If something happens to you, if something happens to this face, then how can you show your identity to others? Now it is so beautiful, and you never let it be. Is that okay to use this? Ugly. You never let it happen. You want your face to be beautiful because that's your identity. Your means ego's identity. Therefore, the ego has to believe face and body, arms, legs, because the ego wants to travel. The ego wants to see beautiful things. Therefore, the ego has to believe eyes. But you know that you can't believe your eyes. I'm not saying that I can't believe my eyes, not that thing. You can't believe your eyes, therefore you believe in God. You ask Him to protect your eyes. That's why you do Bodhi Puja. If you are Buddhist, you do Bodhi Puja. Oh, please protect my eyes, please protect my eyes. Because I can't protect that in my own. Please protect it, please protect it. If you can't protect your children, what do? You go to you go to the Bodhi tree, one of the Bodhi tree you believe in, and then you start pleading, please protect my family, please protect my children, because you want them. You depend on them. You mean the ego. The ego wants children and all the properties, all the things, but it can't protect them. That's why the ego believes in God. Again, I'm not saying that God doesn't exist. And I don't say that God exists, because I don't know. I think you know. Okay. Okay. And then if you don't know, then okay, then leave it. Now, think about that. You have to believe your eyes. You have to believe your ears. You have to believe your tongue. You have to believe your nose. You have to believe your skin. Skin means the whole body. You have to believe that because you have expectations. The ego wants those senses to live. The ego wants the mind especially. That's why you are addicted to thinking. Don't you want to think? That's your favorite hobby. You want to think. You want to think about past things, about your future. You can't be in the present. That's why people are asked to practice mindfulness. That means when you write something, you have to think that I'm writing. Because otherwise, when you write, you will go to the past and you think about your past, or you will make something in your future. And the problem is, people think that is what the Buddha said. No, the Buddha didn't say anything about mindfulness. He said mindful awareness. That means you have to be mindful about something, not what you do, about something which is nature. Nature's characteristics. Anicca dukkha anatta. You have to be mindful with anicca. Whenever you do anything, whenever you act, whenever you sing, whenever you do anything, whenever you think. But the thing is, the ego wants to think. Actually, it is addicted to thinking. You always think. Actually, your mind is talking. Most of the time, your mind is talking. That means you are thinking. You're saying, that, oh, I don't have to do that. I shouldn't have to do that. No. All these things. One day, you will do it out loud. Then you will go into, or you will be sent to mental hospital. To the mental hospital. That will happen. But right now, you are talking, ladies and gentlemen, but it's not out loud. Therefore, you are still here. But you are still. If you are, because you are still talking means the ego wants to think. It is addicted because that's its life. Because if the mind is created, the ego can be born. Can you stop not thinking? Can you stop your mind? Can you stop your mind? No one can do that. Only the Arahant, only some kind of Arahant can do that. That is called Nirodha Samapatti. Not all the Arahants. Not all Arahants, but some kind of Arahants who has dhyana, and they can do it. Only Arahants can do that. Why? They don't have the ego. If you have the ego, you can't stop. You can't stop your mind, because if the mind is created, then the ego can be born. Therefore, the ego doesn't want to commit suicide by stopping the mind. Therefore, the ego wants to think. Because seeing is hard. It's harder. Seeing is harder. Hearing is harder. Touching is harder. But thinking is free. When you close your eyes, you can think. Because you don't need extra help or outer help. External help. You don't need that. You only need your mind. Therefore, the ego always uses that. That's why you think. You are addicted to that, ladies and gentlemen. You don't know. That's why when you practice mindfulness, when you think, whatever you do, when you think about that, you feel a relief. That's why some spiritual masters ask you to be in the present. But that's not Nibbana. You can practice being in the present, but that's not Nibbana. But you can experience a relief, because you will stop thinking. Because your mind is so busy, because you are thinking. But the thing is, when you see something, still you think, because you can't just focus on what you see. Because your mind, the rate of your mind is very high. That means per second, if you take 1,000,000,000 minds are created per second. So you can't use your eyes in that rate. Therefore, you have to think. That's why while you are listening to me, you can hear, you can see, you can feel, and you think. Because the mind is so fast. In this case, you can't be in the present, which means you can't only focus on what you do, because you will hear. You can't just focus on that. Therefore, that's not Nibbana. But you will experience a relief. If you want, you can practice that, but that's not Nibbana. But the ego wants you to think. That's why you think all the time. Because it wants to be born. There is only one thing. If you can practice, the ego can't be born. That is called anicca. If you can practice anicca, because it has akalikatva, akalika, which means, we would say timelessness. Let's use that, but it is not exactly, but let's use that. Time is not involved. When you practice akalika, actually when you practice akalikatva, it means when you practice anicca is akalika. When you practice anicca, then you won't feel ego anymore. Ego can't be created in that environment. That's why the Buddha asks us to practice anicca. Practice anicca, and we have to be anicca. When we be anicca, we means when the mind is, or if the mind becomes anicca, now the ego doesn't have its environment to be born. Then you will be free from suffering, not only suffering, vexation and lamentation and all these things, jealousy, fear, whatever you experience. You can totally dedicate them. You won't have any wanting. Then you don't have to believe in anything. Otherwise you have to believe in everything. Right now you have to believe in me. Or believe me. You have to believe me that I will help you. I will continue this sermon. I will live long. You want your kids to live another 100 years because you want to see them. Because you want to see them. Can I say again? You want to see them. But can you control their life? Doctors, tell me, can you control someone's life? No. Then with that expectation, with that wanting, you only will be vexed. Because you know that you can't control this. That's why you have to believe in God. Oh God, please help me. I can't do that. I know what you can. Who is the person who get blamed mostly? Who is the person? God. God. But people never learn a lesson, ladies and gentlemen. That's the problem. They can't see the problem. They can't see the problem and they don't try to solve that problem. They have many problems and they try to solve all the problems, but not the correct, right problem. Right problem is ignorance. That's what I want to tell you, and I want you to understand this. This is the only problem, ladies and gentlemen. That's in your views. You need to purify that. That's the only thing you need to do. Then you practice this. Then your mind becomes anicca dukkha anatta. And your mind becomes nature. That's it. Then you won't have all these things. Think about these things. You don't have to depend on anyone. People are talking about humanity. We need to create a better world to live. Why? Why? Because we need to live. Why? Why do you want to live? Because you have your wishes. You have your expectations. That's why you need to live. Perhaps now you are 50 years old, in your 60s, you need to achieve that. Therefore, you have to live another 10 years. If death comes to you, then you can, no, I can't. Then you start crying. I can't leave this world because I have to fulfill one of my dreams in my 60s. That's why you are so afraid of death. You can't leave this world. You can't leave this world means actually you, because you have your expectations. Just think about that. Well, one day you will die. Perhaps this is your last day. Oh, I'm sorry. I just said that. Because you don't like to hear that. But that's the reality. That's the only thing you know for sure. But you don't want to talk about that. But you talk about your marriage. Are you sure? For how long? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How long? How many years? But your death is certain. It's certain. We know that. We will die one day. One day. One day means perhaps it's in next minute. During this minute. They listen to this sermon. But you never feel that. You never feel that because you are so busy. You're so busy in thinking. You never think that I will die, can you? Oh, let's think that I will die in next minute, I will die in this minute. You can't think that because you have expectations. You are vexed, and your mind is so busy to fulfill your dreams and goals. Therefore, you can't remember your death. That's why death. That's why it says, his death suddenly came to him. Oh, suddenly came to him. That means he didn't know that. Accidentally. Suddenly. How can we say these things? We know it for sure. It will come to you. If not today, then tomorrow. It will come to you. But you are so busy, therefore you don't want to think about your reality, therefore accidentally you will meet death. At that time you say, no, I can't come. I can't come. Please don't take me. Then you will cry. And your people will cry. Because no one was thinking about that, because everyone was so busy to fulfill their goals and dreams. I'm not saying that you have to think about your death all the time. What I'm saying is, if you know about your death for sure, and you don't think about that, that means you are so busy of other things, but not the reality. Then how can you come, or how can you think, or how can you experience your own mind? Then how can you have the life? How can you achieve the life? that Jesus Christ said. That's the reason, ladies and gentlemen. Actually, if you believe this society, then you will suffer forever. If you believe the Buddha and the words, if you believe Jesus Christ, if you believe Prophet Muhammad, if you believe Bhagavan Krishna, they taught us all these things. We just need to follow them. You all follow everyone, but you forget to follow people or spiritual masters who came to this world to offer us our salvation. I want you to make your mind up, ladies and gentlemen. I want you to change your mind. And I want you to mind your own business. That means there's only one business you have to mind. This is it. Experience your own mind. This is useless and this is harmful. You can't experience yourself. Actually, you are consciousness, but now you behave like a human being. What is the meaning of the word human being? Not only human beings. I found someone called elephant being. No? We can say that. Elephant being. And God being. Brahma being. That means a being in human form. Actually, that English word is very true. It has a good spiritual meaning. Human being. Being in human form. That's why I told you, you can have elephant being. A being in elephant form. Because if you are a being, you should have a form. But if you are consciousness, you don't have a form. When I say form, I'm not only talking about this body, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not talking about Rupa. I'm talking about everything. If you are a being, which is wrong, you are not a being. Actually, you are consciousness. You are consciousness. Because you think, you act, you talk. That's the only three things you do. Yes or no? These are the only three things you do. Then, this is you. Because consciousness can act, can make words, and can think. The ego can't do anything. The ego is only a feeling. It's completely conceptual. It doesn't have anything. In this case, if you are being, that means you are the ego. If we are the ego, now you feel your existence and it has different existence, many existences. Many beings, not one, many beings, yeah? Or one being in different forms. That's why you are a human being and this is a small creature. ant be? When you are a human being, you have a human form and you behave like a human. Your figure, your form is like human, and your gati is like human. You have a human gati. Gati means mentality, let's say, just mentality. You behave like a human being. Not human being, a human. Because you are a being. But if you are consciousness, you don't have any form. You are not different to anyone. Everything is the same. That's what we need to achieve, because that's nature. Everything is the same. But due to ignorance and attachment, you feel that you are a being. Therefore, now you have a form and you behave like a different species. Therefore, now you feel that you have enemies, you have friends, and all these things. Now you have to fight and love, and you have to do all these things, and finally you want to live. You are not ready to die. You want to live. Even though, actually, when you go to hell, do you want to die? Because you know that hell is very dangerous and very harmful and very, very cruel. Yeah? You all know that. Hell, if hell exists, the hell must be. Hell mustn't be heaven. Yeah? Then that's why it's called hell. That means it is very cruel. And you will get very cruel punishments. Right. When you are in hell, do you want to die? Yes, right now you think that, I will commit suicide definitely if I go to hell. That's how you think right now, ladies and gentlemen, because you think, because this is not you. You only think, like when you watch a movie. When you watch a movie, can you remember? Right, there, that mother is dying and tears come to your eyes, but you are still okay with that. Because you are thinking about it. It happens in your mind. That's not you. You know that for sure. That's why you like to watch these movies and teledramas. That happened to them, not to me. You are witnessing it. That's in your mind, that's in your thoughts. That's why now you think about hell. If I go to hell, or if I went to hell, I would definitely commit suicide. But actually, if you go to hell, you won't commit suicide. You will live. This never let you commit suicide, ladies and gentlemen. Because it's pain, whether it's pain or pleasure, that's fine. That doesn't matter. The ego wants to live. If you are ready to die right now, I can say that you will commit suicide there. I'm telling you, if you go to hell, and if the Buddha comes to hell to preach to you, and I'm definitely sure that you will do the same. You will say that I'm so busy and I don't want to attain Nibbana. What do you think? Still won't you say that? No, I want to, you said I want to attain Nibbana, but not now. I have many things to do. Young people. Yes, say. Then perhaps you will say that my mother is the problem. I can't attain Nibbana. Then you will create your own things. Because you are not ready. That's the only thing. That's why I don't take any excuse. I don't take any excuse. Because I know the truth. Therefore I don't take any excuse. I know that you need to understand this a little bit more. Then you won't have any problems or any issue in your life. Therefore I don't take any excuse. But just think, if you go to hell, or if you, let's say, now you are in hell, you suffer a lot. Will you practice? Or would you practice? Just tell me, would you practice? If you practice there, that means the reason that you are not practicing right now is the earth. You are on the planet Earth, or you are on the earth. That's the reason. If you are in hell, you will practice. Am I correct? You won't practice. You won't practice because the ego never let you practice. Because the ego doesn't want to commit suicide. Then what about committing suicide? Like in our society, we have that thing. What is that? The ego knows that it will be born again. Therefore, the ego doesn't matter. The ego don't care about that. It doesn't care about that, ladies and gentlemen. That's why people commit suicide. Because it knows that it will be born again. Actually, why do people commit suicide? What's the reason? What's the reason? Like, do they really want to go completely from the society, or do they want a better world to live? This world is so cruel. This society is so cruel. I don't want to stay in this society. They did to me. They did that to me, and I'm suffering. I can't take it anymore. I'll commit suicide, and I will have a better life after that. That's the only thing that mind thinks. The ego, let it do, ladies and gentlemen, because ego doesn't have any problem with that. But actually, if you have a problem with existing, or your existence, then you need to attain Nibbana. That's the real committing suicide. You need to attain Nibbana. Then you never be born again. But people want to commit suicide to be born again in a nice world. That's one of the ego's action. That's why. Perhaps you think that ego is lovely. No, the ego can kill you, ladies and gentlemen. Ego can kill you whenever it wants. Whenever it can't tolerate the pain, then it will make you commit suicide. Because it doesn't matter, because it knows that it will be born again. But you had to suffer, you had to be vexed. And if committing suicide is a sin, it is a sin, definitely a sin. And I have 1,000 things to say about that. In the future we will talk about that. When you believe these things. I know you believe it, but the entire audience, which means online audience, perhaps they don't believe it yet. In the future, they will talk about that. I have 1,000 things to say. Because I have experienced all these things. I have studied about all these things. That's why I always force you to do this. Because I know your future, ladies and gentlemen. I know what will happen to you. Even you are the richest man in the world. I know what will happen to you. That's why I want to save you. You don't have enough time to do this, ladies and gentlemen. Time is very limited. But still you have to do your job, still you have to maintain your family life and all these things. With those things you have to practice the path. But we don't have anything to do, we only practice the path. We think that perhaps this life won't be enough for us to attain Nibbana. How can you be happy with this? How can you say that, oh, I have this to do, I have that to do and all these things? If you really want to do this, you will make the path. You wanted to marry that woman and you married her. Somehow. You know the meaning of somehow. You will go the extra mile and do it. You do it because you can do that. Human will power is the most powerful weapon in the world. You can do that. That's why I really want you to understand this. I try to make you understand this. Because I know that when you understand this, you will only do this. That's what happened to me. Now, we were talking about you believe in the society and everything. Now you know that you can't believe in anything because everything is anicca. If everything is anicca, you can't believe in anything. You can't believe anything. Therefore, you need to eradicate your expectations. Otherwise, you have to live with suffering. You have to trust someone until they break your trust. I think you all have that experience. But still you believe in humanity, and that's why you want to build a better world with good people who you can trust, or who don't break trust, who don't break your heart. But most of the time you are heartbroken. Then you associate with a friend, then that happened to you. What's the thing? But that's your fault, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you that that's your fault. Because you believe one of your views, you believe greatly. You can't leave it. That's Nietzsche. Therefore, let's talk about anicca. Let's talk about anicca and understand this more. I want you to think about anicca all the time. That is called mindful awareness. Think about anicca. Whatever you see, apply anicca into that, because everything must be anicca in this world. Everything must be anicca in this world. Otherwise, this world can't exist. Because this world, every part of this world, every component, every part of this world is anicca, because it's in dynamically equilibrium. Everything is in equilibrium. If I say equilibrium, that means you will see the same object as it is. Here, this one is in equilibrium. That means you will see the same object. You will experience the same object, but it is in equilibrium. There are two types of equilibrium. One is dynamic equilibrium, the other one is static equilibrium. But everything is dynamically equilibrium. Everything is in dynamically equilibrium. It is dynamic. This universe is full of energy, and actually it is alive, ladies and gentlemen. It is alive. Alive, when I say alive, don't think that is consciousness. It is very active. Nothing is fixed in this world. This is not finished yet, ladies and gentlemen. Now perhaps you think that, oh, this is a pen and it is made. No, you can't make anything. You can't make anything. This is in dynamically equilibrium. This equilibrium is dynamic. That means actually it shares energy from the surrounding. This is energy, because these things are made up of subatomic particles, electrons, protons and neutrons. Then electrons are nothing but lumps of energy, condensed energy, according to E equals mc squared. Let's leave this one, because this is velocity. But here we can see, because this is a constant, therefore we can say that now these two have a connection. That means mass converts to energy, energy converts to mass. This is how the world runs, ladies and gentlemen. Therefore, nothing is made, nothing is created, and job is not finished. If you say that God has created this world, don't say God has created this world. You have to say that the world is being created. The world is being created. Right now, this shares energy. It loses its mass and it gains its mass. But it is in equilibrium. Because if you take an electron is not a fixed object. It's a cloud. It's a cloud, it's sharing energy. Because it's a lump of energy, condensed energy. Therefore, here we have condensed energy, and here it is released energy. And it has, I would say, reversible reaction. Here, this mass converts to energy, energy converts to mass. Therefore, your entire body is sharing energy with the environment. In this case, just imagine this. How can you say that this is your body? If you know about electrons, you believe this. I'm not saying these things. Scientists have proved this. It is proved. No one can deny now. Practically, they have found it. Now in this case, if electron shares energy from its surrounding and your body, now it's sharing. Is this your body or is this your body? What is your body? This one or this one? Because this has some energy which was in your body. But you say that this is your body because of this ego. The ego doesn't know about these things. The ego thinks that it's an entity, it's a being, therefore it wants the identity, therefore it takes your body. Then it thinks that like the ego, it thinks that everything is fixed because the ego feels that it's fixed. That's how it feels. That's how you feel about you. Did you change yourself in your in your 20s? No, you didn't change yourself, but you changed the world. You went to that school. After that, or you went to nursery. After that, you went to primary school. After that, you went to secondary school. After that, you went to campus, universities. Then you went to some other place. You went to. You can say, I went to. Everything is changed. But one thing has been constant. What is that? That is I. Therefore, the ego believes that it is fixed. Therefore, it wants everyone to be fixed. Therefore, the ego thinks that everyone is fixed in this world. That's why you need to learn about this. When you learn about electron, when you learn about your body, then you know that this is not fixed. This is in equilibrium. You can't say that this is my body. You are sharing. Otherwise, if you believe that, then I had to ask my body. Because part of my body is now in you. Give me my body. Because this is alive, ladies and gentlemen. Everything is alive. This is alive. Alive means not the consciousness, not consciousness we are talking about. It is active. Then don't you think that everything is anicca? This is anicca and this is anicca. If you keep these two together, and this shares energy. But no one can say that this is dust. Actually, why do you say that these two are different? Not this. I will say this one. Both of them, both are plastic. Just then, why do you see that these two are different? Because of colors. Because of colors, you see shape. You see shapes. And this is a little bit bigger than this. This is taller than this. You think that, therefore you think that these two are two different things. But these both of them are plastic. Then these two should be the same. But you feel that these two are completely different. Because this is blue, this is red and white. But don't you think that this is plastic? If this is plastic, then this must be the same. And don't you think that you are made up of flesh and bone? Then what about you? What about me? Are you also the same? Then how can you say that this is your body and this is mine? Because our color is different. Color is different, but color is not on the body, ladies and gentlemen. Color is created in your mind. This color is created in your mind. There is nothing to do with energy. Because energy, which means 4 basic elements, you have heard about the word. 4 basic elements. Actually, 4 basic elements means released energy. Released energy. There are 2 types of energy here we talk about. Released energy and condensed energy. Released energy means now you can see, you can't see, but energy is released energy. You can use it for any other work. But these are condensed energy. That's why you can transform this one to energy. But this is energy. We can break nucleus. We can break a nucleus and release energy. Not only that, if you want, we can break an electron one day and get energy. Perhaps we can annihilate an electron completely and take energy. If you want, if this equation is correct, Sir Albert Einstein's equation is correct, we can calculate how many joules are there in 1 kilogram of mass. We just need to divide. That's it. Then you can find. That means this is energy. This is energy, not a different energy. This is condensed energy. And this is also condensed energy. Then how many types of energy you know? Many types, because electrical energy. Then nucleic energy. What other things? Kinetic energy, potential energy. All the energy. But all these types of energy are human-made, ladies and gentlemen. But energy is the same. Energy is only one. There is one energy. But we use energy for different purposes. When we use energy for different purposes, we name them as, or name them accordingly. Therefore, now we can say that it is electric energy because, or electrical energy because it comes through wires. And heat energy because we feel hot. But that is one of our senses. One of our senses. That's why energy has an equation E equals hf. This is a constant. Now in this case you can see this is energy and this is frequency. Energy can be different, or energy can be changed with frequency, not with usage. Otherwise you had to invent new one. You can say that E equals H electrical energy. That means we are going to use in your electrical equipment. In this case, you had to create another type of energy. You can't create another type of energy, ladies and gentlemen. That's why you need to change the frequency of energy. But we have the same energy, but it has different frequencies. When it has different frequencies, we can use it for different purposes. But we are talking about the same energy. Therefore, this has the same energy, but which is condensed. This is condensed. Therefore, we can release energy from this completely. Then this will disappear. It's like an ice cube. It will disappear. We all are like ice cubes in a tank of water, in a water tank, I'd say. Water is energy. We are ice cubes, which means condensed energy. We take water from water and we release water from ourselves. Just imagine that. Then how can you say that your body is nature? How can you say that your body is fixed? And how can you say that you are made? Are you made? Is your body made? No. It is being made. When you die, what will happen? Now there is a dead body. What will happen? It is also the same, ladies and gentlemen. It is also the same. But you think that this is my body and it is decaying. It's not decaying. It is not decaying. It still shares energy with the surrounding. But we feel that it's decaying because we can see many steps which we haven't seen before. And we don't like it as well. It changes. It changes due to causes. But if you fix this time, then you will say that, it's decay. Like you say that your son is grown up. Which son? Because your son is grown up. Because before your son was like this, son or daughter. After that, like this. After that, like this. Then like this. Which son you are talking about? After that, like this. Again. After that, like this. Which son you are talking about, ladies and gentlemen? This son or this son or this son or this son? Which son you are talking about? If you want to talk about this body, you have to fix some point. Let's fix this point, then you can talk about this. My son was grown up. If you take this one, and if you talk about future, he will be old and he will die and he will be rotten. He will be rotten. That's what you will see. Because you name all these things, ladies and gentlemen, because you think that these things are fixed. You fix them. You mean the ego fixed them. The ego fixed them because the ego thinks that everything is fixed. Everything has a shape and everything is fixed. That's why you always want to see the shape. When I say that I have a beautiful pen, then what do you have in your mind? Can I see it? This. This. Because you know that it has a shape. It must have a shape. That's how you think. That's how you wanted to see. You want to experience all the objects which are fixed. That's why if you take this point, you think that is fixed. Then you can see that shape transfers to this shape. It is converted to this shape. It is converted to this shape. Let's assume that this is a lump of energy. Only just energy. Then what is the difference between these two, ladies and gentlemen? What's the difference between these two? This one and this one. Whatever, anything. Perhaps this has more energy. Because now the weight of this body is, let's assume, like 30 kilograms. This one is 50 kilograms. Apart from that, if this is only energy, because everything is made up of 4 basic elements. 4 basic elements means energy. This released energy. The Buddha said about the 4 basic elements. But right now we can talk about energy. Because we have learnt about energy, we didn't learn about 4 basic elements. That is 4 basic elements, ladies and gentlemen. Everything is made up of that. That means we all are made up of same material. The same material. But we have different shapes. Then you think that you are a woman. And someone thinks that he is a man. And others argue about that. No, he is a man, he is a woman. What about us? That means they have something different. I don't know what is it, but they have different. Perhaps like they have 10 or 15 categories. I don't say that they are wrong. How can I say that they are wrong? If you think that you are a man, you are a woman, then you are also wrong. Because you are not a man, you are not a woman, you are consciousness. You are consciousness. When the ego is created, the ego is identified with this body. Therefore, the ego thinks that this body is so special and different. It is so different. You feel like my body is golden. Others have a body made up of flesh and bones and yak. But my body is made up of gold. My body is made up of gold. That's how you feel. Therefore, you can eat by your hand. Yeah? That's your hand. Oh, this is my hand. I can eat. I can touch. I can do anything. But what about others? Others' hand is yak. But you are booger. Booger, no? Booger. Saliva. Whatever. Huh? What about your one? Your one is okay. You can keep it In your mouth. What is in your mouth? Ah, I thought that you didn't know that. You knew. But it doesn't matter. Why? It's mine. When something is mine, it is golden. That is just gold. But you know that, ladies and gentlemen, this is only saliva, phlegm. But it's okay for you to have your things, but you are not ready to have others. I don't ask you to have others, but just imagine this. Everything is the same. You are not the ego, you are not a being, you are consciousness, and this body is the same. It is made up of 4 basic elements, which is energy. We can weigh your body and say that amount of energy which is stored or which is condensed, but the same energy. You have a different shape. That's only a different shape. I know that you can't believe this. You can't believe this because you have been practicing a wrong view, ladies and gentlemen. Not in this birth, but also you have been practicing for eons. That this is my body. This is special, this is my body, this is my body. Therefore you can't believe that everyone has the same body, but it has different shapes and different amount of energy. But how can we say that I am brown or black and you are white? How can we say that? Because you are white, because you think that you are white, and someone thinks that someone is brown and someone is black. But these things are made. These things are made in the mind. These things are created in the mind. There is nothing to do with energy, ladies and gentlemen. That is not energy. The color is not energy, ladies and gentlemen. Color is created in your mind. It is not energy, it is not 4 basic elements. It is not 4 basic elements. It is something mental, which means which is created in the mind. You have something there that is a pigment, which is melanin. Melanin. If you want, I can make you white, but I don't know the engineering for that. What we have to do is, what do you want to be black or white or brown? You can choose. If you want to be white, we had to reduce the amount of these pigments, because your under skin is white. On top of that, there is another skin. There we have those pigments. Then the pigment density is high, you are black or brown. That's it. It's only a pigment. That pigment is made up of electrons, protons, neutrons, which means carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, all these things. That means again that pigment is energy, but the color is not energy. Color is created in your mind. Therefore you can't separate things by color. In that case you can't separate things by its shape. That's amount of the size, shape. That's because that is amount of energy. Then I had to ask a question. You have 500 grams of sugar and 250 grams of sugar. Do you have sugar or you have sugar and water? Do you have the same sugar or do you have sugar and water? How do you feel? You have 500 grams of sugar on this hand and 250 grams of sugar on this hand. Okay, now tell me, what do you have on this hand? Sugar. What about this? Water? Water? Because both is sugar. Why? But the weight is different. Mass here 500 grams, here 250. Does it change? No. Then you are 70 kilograms, someone is 60 kilograms. How can you say that, oh, I'm so different to the other person? The ego does that. If you have the same figure, if you are identical twins, still the ego believes that this is my body and this is yours. Because the ego needs its identity, completely separate identity. Now, can you imagine how the ego thinks? It feels that everything is separated. That's the view we need to break. That's why the Buddha found that and taught us anicca dukkha anatta, which means the reality of the world, for us to understand. When we understand that, we can break that view. Until that, the ego will be identified with your body and your properties, your everything, and say that these are mine. And these things will be so different to others. You know that whatever you have is so special. Don't you feel that? Your son, your daughter is so special. Yes or no? Just your feeling. How do you feel? Your son is so special, your daughter is so special. Because that's yours. That's how the ego thinks. Or ego feels. It is so special. Your car is so special. Even though it's not brand new, but it's so special because it's mine. It's mine. It's so special. How can you win this? There is only one path. You need to eradicate the ego. Until that, you never ever be happy in your life. Because you have to deal with all these things. Because you have special things and you have to protect them. You have to live with them. But still you won't believe this because the ego listens to me. I can see that. The ego listens to me. I will preach to you until your mind listens to me. One day it will happen. Keep listening. Keep listening. One day your mind will listen to me. At that time, we can fight. Until that, we have to listen. But it will happen eventually. That's why Jesus Christ said, knock, keep knocking, then it shall be open to you. Definitely it shall be open to you. But you need to ask. Ask. Take the Dhamma and ask. This is how you can win the world. This is how you can stop believing others. Until that, you can believe others and let them break your heart. No one can break my heart because I don't believe in anyone. Not believe in, I don't believe anyone. Because I don't want to believe anyone. That doesn't mean that I don't love anyone. I love everyone. I can dedicate my life for you all to attain Nibbana. But I don't believe you. That doesn't mean that you are wrong. I don't believe you because I know who you are. But when I say that, it's not nice. I know who you are, therefore I don't believe you. That I didn't mean that. I didn't mean that. I know who you are. This is, which is consciousness, and this is the ego, which is defilements, and this is the body, and this is anicca, this is anicca, this is anicca. Therefore, if everything is anicca, that's why I told you, I know you. You are not doing anything. Things happen to you, ladies and gentlemen. Things happen to you. You think that you do that because when the ego is created, then the ego always takes the ownership. Things happen to you. You can't raise your hand. It happens to you. When it happens, because causes must be there. When causes are there, it will happen. But when it happens, the ego says, I did it. I did it. The ego always takes the ownership because the ego wants the identity. Therefore, whatever happens, this consciousness is created due to energy. This rupa to be created, we need to supply energy. That is called vipaka energy. Here, vipaka energy. This energy, this amount of energy is used, later on we will talk about this. This amount of energy is used to create rupa, vedana, sanya, sankhara, vijnana. That means, if the mind to be created, this energy is used. That means, if this energy is ready, the mind is created. When the mind is created, because of the defilements, the ego is created, then ego takes the ownership. That is that, I did it. In this case, actually the mind does everything. The mind acts, the mind make words, that means talks, and the mind thinks. These are the only three things you do. But when these things happen, the ego takes the ownership. Then ego says that I did it, I did it, I did it. You need to understand this. That's why Jesus Christ said, it's not I. The Father within me who does the works. There are three types of work. Kaya sankara, vachi sankara, mano sankara. Kaya sankara means the mind which is created to act, to use the body. Vachi sankara means the mind which is created to make words. And mano sankara is the mind, this is mano sankara. That is, when the rupa is created, it has to come to perception. That perception is created by Manosankara. Manosankara creates the mind. Let's use that. Now in this case, you can see the ego doesn't do anything. The ego can't do anything. The ego only takes the ownership and say that I did it, I will do it, and I do it, I'm doing it, all these things. That's why Jesus Christ saw that and he said, it's not I, it's not I. But when he says, it's not I, people think that he was talking about himself. He didn't, according to my understanding, I'm saying, according to my understanding, he didn't talk about himself. Actually, he talked about I, which is ego. This is the ego. He said that it is not I. The Father within me who does the works, those 3 works you do in your life. Therefore, all the work that have been done so far is done by the Father within you. Father within you, which means the consciousness or the energy, which means nature. Nature has done all the things, but ego says, I did it and I do it. That's what it is, ladies and gentlemen. You haven't done anything. Everything happened to you. If you can understand these things, you will see the life. You will experience the life. You will experience this, ladies and gentlemen. I really want you to experience this at least per second. For a second. If you can experience this for a second, you will listen to me. And you will leave your wife, you will leave your husband and come and join us. Both of you. We don't invite to one, we invite everyone. We don't want to break your marriage. We want you to see the truth. Actually, we have to work against the society. That's the problem. Because society has different views. It's completely wrong. It's completely wrong, and we have been cheated. Actually, we believe something which is wrong. Society taught us. But we had to listen to them. Because we were children at that time. We didn't know about that. We thought that those people knew. Therefore we listened to them. I'm not blaming them. They taught to us something that they thought which is correct. But it is wrong. Therefore we wasted our life. But now we found the truth. That's why we teach this. I want you to understand this. Think about this body. You have a week. During this week, try to think about this body. Try to compare your body and body with someone else's body. This is only a lump of energy, ladies and gentlemen. 65 kilo of energy. That's it. Just 65 kilo of energy, and 50 kilo of energy, and 20 kilo of. When you were born, perhaps, how, like 7, 5, 6, 3, 2, 3, 3 kilo of energy. That's it. Then when you see vegetables, what do you want? What do you actually now? What can you see when you see a vegetable? When you see this is energy. When you see this is energy. When you see this is metal, ladies and gentlemen, but which is energy. Again, this M is not only for plastic or flesh or bone. This M is for mass. That means if this is, you can apply it for this. Therefore, if these two are the same, if you can see that one day, then you won't see different bodies. You only see bodies that are created or that are made up of energy, which means you will see only energy. See means you will see in your mind, not in your naked eye. You will see only energy. Therefore, you won't see any difference. If you don't see any difference, you can live with half of your body. Can you now? No, you don't have your limbs now. You don't have your arms, your legs. Only this part. Can you live? It's really difficult for you to live, ladies and gentlemen, because you think that you had a body, a special body, and they have a different body than me, and you compare these things. But you will see that everything is the same. Therefore, if you have this kind of body, you will live there when you understand that. Therefore, when you paralyze one day, I'm not saying that you will definitely paralyze, but when you paralyze one day, nothing will happen to your mind, because at that time your mind won't be identified with your body, because your body is anicca and the mind knows it. That's why there is a path. I think you can see the path. Oh, you have been listening to just some unwanted things or some rubbish? No, you have been listening to something which is true, and you can understand that it is true. That's why if you can understand that this concept means this doctrine, the Buddha's doctrine is true, Jesus Christ's doctrine is true, then why don't you practice? That's my other question. I took the ball from your court when I started this sermon. Now I'm going to give it back. Now, please play. Take your chance. You have a week. Because during this week we will practice. And we will come to you. Every day we will come up with new things. How? We practice, because that's our life. But we both want to attain Nibbana, but we practice and you do something else, then it is unfair. It's unfair to yourself, not to me. That's the loving kindness we have. We can't just eat what you offer and let you do whatever you want. Because you treat us as your teachers, then we have a responsibility. That's why we always tell you. Even you blame me, I'll tell you the same. You must attain Nibbana. You can blame me. Perhaps you can stop listening to this. No, this monk is forcing us. How dare he does that? Yes, that's me. Because if you believe me, then I should do something. I can't let you be ruined. Because I know your future. I have seen your future. Perhaps you are rich, perhaps you are well educated, but you are nothing but a normal human being, ladies and gentlemen. Those are the titles that is given from the society. You are a normal human being. I have seen what happened to normal human beings after their death. That's why with love and loving kindness, compassion, I want you to attain Nibbana. That's the only thing you need to offer. That's the only puja you can do to us. Attain Nibbana and be happy. That's it. That's the only thing we need. We have our alms bowl. We can beg. That's why we ordain. If we can't beg and if we can't eat what is edible, we never ordain. But we ordain because we can eat whatever you offer, or anyone offers to our alms bowl. Therefore we don't expect your dana as well. But you can offer dana, but we don't expect that. We only expect only one thing from you. Be happy without trying to be. Let's do that. We are a team. I think you know that. We are not against you. We are with you. That's our love. We don't want to cheat you. If I have a power, I never let you go home. Luckily, I don't have that. Can you imagine if I have that, that thought in my mind, how dangerous this samsara is? You don't feel it, ladies and gentlemen. You don't feel it. The samsara is so dangerous. If you miss this boat, you never catch another boat. I'm pretty sure about that. Because everybody wants to attain Nibbana. Everybody. Everybody means how many bodies? What is the number of beings? There are 8.5 billion human beings who have human bodies, who were born with human bodies, but without a human body. How many? How many human beings? But perhaps you don't believe that. But I believe, because I have experienced it. What about animals? How many sea creatures? How many sea creatures are there? It is. You can say it is infinite number of. Okay, everybody wants to attain Nibbana. I'm telling you, that's their destination. Then now you have the chance. If you miss this chance, do you really think that you will get the second chance? Yes, you will get that if your grandfather is God. Because then you will be favored again. But now you are highly favored. You are highly favored. That's why you got a human life and you got the Dhamma. Can you imagine that? You got the Dhamma and then perhaps, let's assume that. And we learned English for you. Today morning I learned. Every day I learn English. Why? Not to attain Nibbana. I know what I have to do. Sinhalese is enough for me. We practice every day. Because I want you to attain Nibbana. I practice 5 languages, ladies and gentlemen. Every day I practice. Because I know that if I don't do every day, that means by not being consistent, then I won't do that. Every day I do that. That's why we are so busy. We are so busy. We don't have time to meet anyone. Even the Mr. President comes to the monastery. Perhaps I'm so busy. I'll send another monk because I'm so busy. Rather than meeting someone, I want to study, I want to learn another language. Then I can help those people. I learn Telugu, therefore I can help them. I learn Japanese, I can help them. In the future I will learn Chinese. That compassion guides me to that. I know it's so hard. Learning a language is so hard. Can you imagine learning 5 languages? I only know Sinhalese, ladies and gentlemen. Other 4 languages had to be learned. But I learn. They learn. Monks are learning. Then you need to achieve your salvation. We all do for the world. We all do these things for the world. That's how we earn merits. Therefore, please, let us help you. Understand that you have a problem and we will do this together. We are with you. You are not alone. You are not alone. We are with you. Less battle and less with the war. I'll see you next week. May the blessings of the Noble Triple Chain be with you. Thank you.